Good morning, everyone. Greetings and good day to all of you. Today, the topic is Chapter 3, and the name of the chapter is Elementary Concepts of Classes and Objects. The contents of the Chapter 3 is Objects, Class, what are the rules for naming a class, what is the concept of user-defined data type, how it is different from fundamental data type, what is the use of new operator, what is the use of dot operator, what is the difference between object and class. Now, object. As we discussed in the previous tutorial also, object is anything which is visible to you, which you can describe. So if you can describe, it has some characteristics and behavior, and that makes the definition of an object. So it is a unique entity having characteristics and behavior. It can be living or a non-living. For example, pen, pencil, mobile phone, sofa, chair, bench, all these are the example of objects. What is the important point to note that the characteristics in Java programs are known as data members and the behavior are known as member functions. I'm again repeating, the characteristics in Java programs are known as data members and the behavior are known as member functions. What is the characteristics? Characteristics are the attributes or the properties of an object, and what is behavior? Behavior are what function they are performing. So for example, in the picture you can see I have taken an example of real world object. It is a car. So what are the properties of the car? It has some shape, it has some model, like it is of 2011 model or 2014 model, and it is differentiate. How a one car is differentiate from the another car? On the basis of color. What is the engine capacity of the car? What is the function of the car? It is used for the driving purpose. Now, again, how will we use these objects in the software programming? See, I have taken an example of the students. These are the objects. So what are the data members or what are the properties of an object? Student has a name or a roll number or an address or a phone. And what are the function of the student? Read is the function, write is the function, learn is the function. Now the question arises that why we need objects? We need objects because they provide a structured approach and a very good approach for the programming. We need objects because they used to store the data values. So they provide the safety of the data. That is why Java is known as an object-oriented programming language, because every programming revolves around the objects. Now, in the next slide, there is a concept of the classes. What are the classes? The definition says that it encapsulates the characteristics and behavior of an object. Encapsulate means the class is a way or a mechanism to bind the data as well as the methods together as a single unit. What is the data? Data are the attributes or the properties or the characteristics of an object. And what are the methods? Methods are known as functions or behavior of an object. The second point says that it is used to create a similar objects. So class is responsible for creating similar kind of objects. And the third important point says that all objects share the same characteristics and behavior but with different values of attributes. Now, same characteristics and behavior. Why same characteristics? Because they are creating from the same class. Why same behavior? Because they are creating from the same class, but they have a different value of attributes. Now, if you see this example, class 9th. Now, this class is encapsulate the characteristics and behavior of an object. What are the characteristics of class 9th? Name, roll number, address. And these characteristics are known as data members. What are the member functions? Read, write, play. So, these are the methods or functions of a class. Now, let's say there are 50 students or there are 100 students in a class 9th. I have taken, for example, student 1, student 2, student 3 and student 4. So in an example, these all 4 objects are created from the class 9th. They all share the same characteristics. What the characteristics? Name, roll number, address, but they have a different values. So in student 1, the name is Amit, the roll number is S001. In the same category, student 2, the name is Tarun. The roll number is S002. The student 3, the name is Arun and the roll number is S003. Student 4, the roll number is S004 and the name is Manu. So all the objects, how we can differentiate from one object to the another object on the basis of the values of attributes. But they have the same characteristics and they have the same behavior because they are creating from the one class. Now in this slide, we understand how to declare a class. So a class is declared with the following syntax. Class. Now this class is a reserved word which is in small letters, then space and the name of the class with open and close bracket. Now what comes in open and close bracket, that makes the body of the class. So again I'm writing, what is this? This is known as body of the class. So for example, I'm writing the class employee and then inside a employee main function, inside a main function, I'm using a statement system.out.println to display a message. What is my message? ABC on the screen. But what is important point to note that how to declare a class? Again, I'm repeating. Class, it's a reserved word. It comes in a small letters and then space and name of the class with open and close bracket. After this, the next slide is about the class naming rules. So what rules to be followed while writing a class name? The first point is it should not begin with a digit. So for example, if I'm writing the class 23 ABC and if I'm writing 123 my file, that is a wrong practice. Why? Because the class name cannot begin with a digit. The second point is name cannot have a space between it. So for example, if I'm writing my space data, that is again wrong because the class name cannot have a space between it. The third point is it must not be a keyword. What is a keyword? Keywords are those reserved words which have a special meaning for the compiler. For example, class, public, static, void, main, int, char, long, all these are a keyword. So if I'm using keyword for a class name, that is again wrong practice. The next point says that it should not contain any special character. So for example, at the rate, hash, these are the special characters which are not allowed while writing a class name. The next point says that it can have alphabet, digits, underscore and dollar sign. So what we can include while writing a class names? Alphabets, digits, underscore and dollar sign. Fine, so there's a comparison between valid class names and why they are invalid. So the first is my underscore file. This is a valid class name because underscore is allowed. My space file. This is invalid class name because space are not allowed. The second is ABC23 is a valid. Why? Because the digits comes at the end of the class name. 23 ABC, that is again invalid because it should not begin with a digit. The third is ABC dollar. Now this is valid. Why? Because dollar signs are allowed. But ABC at the rate is invalid because at the rate is not allowed while writing a class name. Now in the next slide is declaration of an object. So objects are declared with the help of new operator, and now comes the introduction of the new operator. New operator, it is used to allocate the memory to an object at runtime. Now when we declare an object, how the object comes into existence unless and until we allocate the memory. And which operator is responsible for allocating the memory to an object? New operator. So it is used to allocate the memory to an object at runtime. Runtime means at the time of execution. What is the syntax? Class name, then space, then object name is equal to new class name, open bracket, close bracket. For example, I am declaring an object EMP of class employee. Then how I write a syntax? Employee, that is the name of the class, space EMP equal to new employee, open bracket and close bracket. Again, suppose I am writing a S1 object of STU class. So how will I write? See, I will write in this way. STU and then space and then name of the object. So name of the object is S is equal to, and then I will write new and then class name. What is the class name? STU. So I'm writing STU open bracket close bracket. So in this way I am writing or I am declaring an object. So this is only for the today's class. The next of the topics we will discuss next time. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much.